Request accepted.
Good morning, New Eden. Today is June 7th, 2026, and this is the Federation Frontline Report. I'm your host, Frozen Fallout, and my co-hosts are Samson.
New Eden no Minasama, Ohio gozaimashita, and welcome.
Coming all the way from Japan in order to meet us in the virtual world of EVE Online. And then we have Night Flyer. How's it going?
Hey, good morning, everybody, and thank you for all tuning in. A lot of stuff going on in LowSec now as everybody's getting so excited for the new Cradle of Love. Is that what's coming out on Tuesday?
Cradle of
Love expansion.
We were just talking about bushing before the show. Now I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Cradle of Love.
Somebody at FanFest called it Cradle of Chores. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's a little too real.
We do get a bunch of chores that we get to do now. That is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I guess we're calling them achievement. Oh, I spoke too soon. I'm sorry.
No, not a problem. We do have our special guest, Rixx Javix. How's it going, man?
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back.
Well, hey, thank you very much. Good to be back. Feels like I never left, or that I left recently.
You were on
I see you in space all the time.
Right.
Hanging around Hey Die Less.
I do see a lot of you in space, yes.
Yes.
Usually just the exhaust of your ship. But
yeah. Hey, last time we did a 1v1 and I came up with 3% structure. 3% structure, and I got very lucky on that very last
The tide is turning, Frozen.
1 out of the 20 times I've encountered you, I've got
you. You did. Yeah, I made a horrible mistake in that fight. I've been videotaping my fights recently to make shorts because I'm trying to promote my YouTube channel. So I never really recorded much in the past, but I've started to, and I've noticed some disturbing trends that I didn't know about myself. So it's helping me to be a better pilot, but also it's a little funny to see. Sometimes I complain about what other people are doing, and then I realize that I'm doing just as bad. So, yeah.
Oh, I am horrible at this game, and
you can see your bad habits
all over. Yeah, watching myself is kind of cringe because I know all the problems that I'm doing. I'm just,
it's just soldier on without it.
There's so many times that I've gone back and looked and been like, why didn't you activate your mid slots? Like, why did you activate all of your modules? What mental process happened that you just
the commenters will go like, why'd you leave your micro warp drive on the whole time? Right?
Yeah, micro warp drive on the whole time. It was,
I thought I turned it off. God damn it.
I was worried about my reps. Oh no, I forgot about my micro warp drive.
Yeah, why are your drones still in the drone bay? Like
my drones.
That's a bad one.
Drones. Or you dropped your drones after you started shooting at somebody, so they're just sitting idly.
Yeah, they're just floating next to your ship the whole fight.
I'm always smashing F. Fuck. Attack, damn it. Why are they not attacking yet?
This game's too goddamn complicated. That's what I think. So.
Well, it's got a magic. I'd say that it's got like an arcane or like a magical interface that you have to have like a certain level of understanding of the universe to like come in and be like, okay, I'm gonna tackle this user interface and I'm gonna do things that I want to do. I understand, like, my spatial awareness has, greatly gone up because of EVE Online. Understand?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of things have gone up because of EVE Online.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
I'm happy to be here, like I said.
There's a whole bunch of projects that you have been working on as of late. before we jump into all those different projects, though, what do you think of the new expansion that's coming out, the new newbie area? Are you for or against this concept of peer protection?
Well, I don't like that idea, obviously, but I think in the current environment, if one thing if Eve has proven over 23 years is that CCP is willing to adapt to the current gaming environment and what people expect out of their games. And I think that I've always advocated for some kind of a rookie training tutorial, soft launch kind of a thing, and they really took it to the extreme. I don't know that anybody expected to be, 53 new systems to be added to the game and new game. I was just reading the patch notes again today, and it's like, oh yeah, they just casually added 4 new gates to the game, and
Yep, they made the
um,
trip from Amar to Jeddah shorter, but through a whole bunch of different
yeah, yeah.
0.5s.
Everybody's like, well, the Glinty got screwed on their achievements because all it is a new gate, to Juff. And I'm super excited about that achievement. I think that we might even join up and help you guys because, 3 jumps to Dixie. It sounds pretty exciting to me. And less jumps to Jita, so I'm happy because we live right next door to
going neutral. That was pretty huge.
Yeah.
That's
And what's going on with Syndicate too? Is the Caldari going to take over Syndicate? Are we losing a nullsec system?
I wonder, will it churn from nullsec to highsec? That would be crazy.
Wouldn't that be something? Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot up in the air, and I think that I'm all for it. I'm not, we'll see. The proof is in the pudding, right? will our retention of new players is terrible. If you see the stats, CCP, FC Ghost used to give us all those stats all the time. They kind of stopped doing that, but those retention numbers are horrible. So whatever we can do to make players stick around longer and get into a corporation and start actually talking to people. It's amazing how many new players I blow up and I go, you should join a corp and talk to people. And they're like, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be a terrible game for you.
Yeah, it's a very social game. Even when you're a solo pilot, it's still a very social game.
Oh yeah,
do a lot of
absolutely.
Solo.
Well, I tell that's half of people in Stay Frosty fly around by themselves, but I tell them, this is get in the corp. Ask us questions. We can help you. We have BPCs and we can make ships and we can do things to support your solo activities, but it really is a social game. It's just sitting here talking. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in a long time, and it's just good to see familiar faces and get out and it's just a community, and the more you get involved in it, the better it is for you.
Yeah,
to enjoy.
You fly by yourself, but you're never alone. So that's one of the good things about Eve. And speaking about not being alone and other stuff and the things that you've worked on and why we had you on the show today, I wrote up a huge intro. So I was saying, last time we had you on, we were really specifically wanting to talk to you about the board game that you've been working on. And you have been doing so much over the last 6 months that there's I'm trying to compile the notes and stuff for the interview here. And it was really hard. I think I got more time into this than I have.
Well, let's not waste it.
No.
Let's do it.
But first and foremost, I want to congratulate you for being the first EVE Online Polaris Award recipient. I think.
Thank you. That's pretty awesome.
I
was hoping it would have arrived by now so I could hold it up and show you it hasn't showed up yet.
And again, well deserved. Since 2008, you've been in this game. You're known as the Pirate King. You are big in the low-sec piracy, content creation, community building, all the projects you've worked on. You have your new Safe Spot podcast that you're doing with Crazy Canucks, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Pirates Corner, again, we'll talk more about your YouTube stuff coming up too, and your shorts. The stuff you do with Stay Frosty and the Frigate Free For All, and all the spaceship artwork, which is I think how I kind of first learned who you were, was through that. The community events, the videos, the community projects, and I'm gonna post it in. I already did. Post it in the stats, and we'll link it when we go to the YouTube about Eve Oganda. where everything we talk about, go to the website. All the stuff's on there. There's all the links on Eve Oganda. So like propaganda only, it's Eve Oganda. And again, I enjoyed learning about your history and how that all kind of came about.
It sounded like a good idea 16 years ago when I named it that.
You were making all this propaganda about stuff, and going back and kind of looking at it from a historical standpoint, I think it's like really cool. But yeah, you can go to Eve Oganda at Eve Oganda at
Basically, you can search for anything Eve related. If something about me's going to come up in a picture or an image or something. So
just ask your local AI. It'll let you know what's going on.
Yeah.
But going through Eve Oganda, one of the things I learned was the notebook. I have it set, and I didn't realize I was going through your stuff. Like, I keep it on my desk. This is where I put a lot of my show notes, or when we're talking with people, and I'll write down ideas and stuff. So I have.
Yeah, funny story about that. Yeah.
So. No, go ahead.
I did that for the Eve store. I was doing a lot of work for the Eve store, and I hit a blank, sort of a roadblock. Couldn't think of something new. They needed something new, and I kept sending ideas, and it's not. And I knew that too. And then I don't remember who, but somebody at CCP went, Rixx, remember like a decade ago, you did this wallpaper for Tusker. And I can't remember his name either, but it was a Dramiel with teeth, It was like a World War II fighter plane. And they go, you remember that? And I'm like, yeah, I remember that. And like, well, do something like that. So it's just a stupid little quick thing I did for a player, for a personalized wallpaper, and somebody at CCP remembered it and said, that might be a cool thing to do for the store. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I like it.
That's cool. I love them. I think, I like the size a lot. I bought these when I was at FanFest for the 20th thing, because when I need a notebook to kind of.
If you guys are old enough to remember the little stickers and things you used to get with hot rods, like cars, with like monsters driving them, and the cars were like, monstered out and everything. That's kind of the inspiration for that,
Like a rat fink.
Rat fink, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm old.
Yeah, okay. Well, you're older than us. You're in Japan. That's like a whole other day older than us.
Yeah. I think I'm the youngest man here.
The youngest?
At 42.
Yes. You are the youngest.
But I have achieved the ultimate answer to everything. I have no idea what the question is, so I'm trying to figure out that question. But I got the answer, so
You got the answer to the question.
Knowing is half the battle. Now I've got that other half.
Yeah, you just need the first half. That's where G.I. Joe comes in. We got that when we were kids. Come on.
Yeah.
You blast people with laser guns, they don't die for some reason.
Why am I moving so much? I don't know. I'm seeing myself move and stuff. I'm like, why am I doing that? I don't know. Anyway, being self-critical now that I'm on camera so much. I've never really been a camera person. I've always been a behind the camera person.
Oh, you're fine. There's no as long as you're in the. I mean, you don't even have to be in the framework. Like everybody's here for you.
That's true. Yeah, I can just.
We're good. You guys. I'll just do the rest of the show. Like just too far away from my mic. Yeah, the mic's over here.
All right, Flyer. Are you done with the intro, or do we? We don't want you to waste anything.
That's kind of the intro. Okay. I figured we're going through some of the questions. I wanted to start off with some of the low-sec piracy stuff and kind of get your take on it. And do you think piracy is a misunderstanding as a play style in Eve?
Yeah, I think people think of gankers right away, right? When we say you're a pirate. And people think of ganking in high sec and in low sec too, I guess, a little bit. But yeah, we get mixed in with gankers. We get mixed in with scammers a little bit. But I think that piracy in general is pretty much, almost dead. Everybody who was interested in it really kind of joined the faction, or especially when the insurgency stuff started. When Guristas and everybody started. We lose players to that too. Even out of Stay Frosty, we'll have people go, I'm going to go try this Gurista insurgency stuff for a little while, or see how that is. So it's hard to get people to join. It's hard to keep them, and there's so much other stuff going on now. And but we are maintaining. We lose a few, we gain a few. And I like to keep the corp, the way it is, and so it's a lifestyle choice that's very difficult to do. To stay -10 or to stay criminal for a long time, it's kind of, I always say it's like Eve on hard mode, but it kind of is. And you need some alts to make it work, and you need to figure out how to do that and make money and make ISK. And it's not super attractive to young people, but I think that it's always challenging. But I think it's better now than it's ever been. My personal opinion. You guys, faction warfare, all the changes to low sec, people have a romantic notion of what it used to be, but it used to be kind of a wasteland, and it was hard to find fights. And I go all the way back, even before Rooks and Kings and all of that, and that was a mess, in low sec. And faction warfare has really brought a lot of people to low sec, and it's a very, very active. I mean, you have days, right, when it's boring and there's nothing much going on, but it's
like to feel like faction warfare brings an attitude of I want to fight as well. Mm-hmm. It's that you're fighting. It's much more likely to get a fight with somebody else who wants to fight you.
Right,
and,
exactly.
There might be some odds, that are in favor of somebody else or the other, but for a large part, it's where it's a good place to go meet up, where if you want to find somebody who wants to fight you back, especially it's a great place to play Prey, where you just sit inside of a open or inside of any kind of plex, especially like the scout. Go there with a frigate. You can find 1v1 frigate fights all the time, mm-hmm. because people are hungry hunters out there.
Oh, absolutely. And the other good thing about it, which I think, I had a conversation about this with a pilot the other night in one of our pilots. And we can make criticisms about Plex system, and there are valid points to be made. I think pirate frigates like the Dramiel, the Daredevil, aren't getting used a lot, and I think that it would be great if they could only enter like plexes that were a bigger size than them, right?
Like they did in the old days.
Yeah, like we could argue mechanicals and stuff, but the one thing I think it does, which I don't think a lot of people appreciate, is that it creates a safety net for you. If you undock, you can go straight to a plex and get inside of that thing, and only ships that are of your size or smaller are things that you're going to be able to fear. Like if you're in a frigate and you're in a small plex, a whole battleship fleet could be outside your plex, and there's nothing they can do to you.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm. They might have one or two people that'll come in to try and mess with you, which is perfect, because that's what you're kind of looking for.
Yeah, so I think it gives people a sense of security in a weird way. It's kind of like a little bit of a security blanket, that encourages them to participate. Whereas, they might not without that, because a little frigate, with a battleship fleet and local might be afraid to undock,
And now we're going to have the T1 frigate sites now.
So right, yeah, and the interceptor ones and the battlecruiser ones too, right?
Yep. I'm interested to see the battlecruiser ones too, because they have special bonuses, right? I think that's the
only they have some freaky stuff, yeah, like polarized weapon resists and things I saw.
Yeah, that was an interesting list of.
But they're only going to be in certain systems, right? I mean, if I read the patch notes correctly, they're only going to be in front lines
systems, and they're going to have a slow respawn rate, basically. So
once a day or something, yeah. So overall, I'm excited about Crate of War. It's the first of 3 we've been promised, right? So it's like a trilogy of expansions, which is something they've never done. I think that's pretty cool. It'll be the first one that Fenris is responsible for on their own, independent of Pearl Abyss. So I think they have a lot to prove, if they get this right, or if they mess up. Typically, old CCP would, release the expansion, and horrible things would happen, and a week later we'd get a really good patch, to try to fix some of that. So we'll see if that still happen. But I'm excited about it. Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I just hope it doesn't kind of fade away. I know some of the things they've introduced over the last couple of years, they come out with the expansion and this is like a thing, and then it kind of just teeters off. Potchman being like one of the big things on that. Like
Zarzak.
Or that, and Zarzak being probably the most prominent thing that come to mind right now is you had this whole pirate space thing that was supposed to come, and the storyline just kind of disappeared. And
they killed it. It was great, and it was a really awesome thing. And then they made it so it was impossible to use it. You go in there now and you're trapped there for a whole day or whatever. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I hope this doesn't turn into something like that. Like, I know this is something that I kind of when I was talking with Berger at FanFest, CCP Berger then, now FC Berger, I brought up the idea of how I'd like to see like achievements. I think it would. My thing was, like, if you went into faction warfare, like, you could have like bling put on your faction warfare uniform. You can't trade it, you can't sell it, can't scrap it, but it's something that you can put on your avatar. And again, I just thought that would be cool. And so I'm hoping this kind of leans that way.
Almost like a third world dictator, where you got a whole chest full of medals.
I have all the medals. I have done great things for the world.
Yeah, well, you're a general.
Not to change the subject, but I just thought of it. Have any of you tried to talk about CCP in chat, in game? Because I just realized that yesterday we had a Stay Frosty fleet, and we were trying to talk about Fenris, and so you use FC, right? So it's very confusing when you're talking about.
I on our last show, I was complaining about that. I was like, they can change their name. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But they changed it to something that's already in use in the game, and that's very confusing. When you say FC, are you talking about the company now, or are you talking to me right now?
Right,
What are you
leading the fleet. A lot of people were chatting. Like, I wish FC would change his mind to do something else. I'm like, oh my god!
Especially if it's like a blobs fleet or something, because you're doing a blobs fleet, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do dishes while we wait for the hunter to catch something, and then you hear FC, and you're like, fuck, what? I gotta run back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's very disconcerting. Like, what are they talking about?
That was kind of I felt like that was kind of a bad decision, just because it's a very prominent thing in the game already.
Yeah.
And so like then it's I don't know. I mean, I would say unfortunate, but I mean, seems deliberate at this point. Like, how do you not
feel
see that?
Very deliberate. I feel like it's going to settle somewhere around just calling them Fenris and just almost ignoring the acronym, like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like FC, is just that whenever you say FC, you're talking about your FC. If you're talking about the company formerly known as CCP, you're going to say Fenris.
FCCPs, FCCCP.
But
that might even be.
But I do think that this is
Fenris formerly known as CCP.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's definitely a thing. I mean, it hasn't really like affected our fleets so far, but
I do feel like it's the any publicity is good publicity stance of like, let's just call ourselves fleet commanders. What did they?
What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do?
They're gonna talk about this for like a year. Like, this will just be like one of the because it doesn't really matter. It's not a real PR hit in any real way.
It doesn't actually affect anything.
It is gonna be talked about for years possibly to come. It's gonna
you have a ghost in your house, frozen.
Do I?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a cat. I think opened your door. Janeway
ghosts. I do have two Great Danes, so one's a slightly smaller Great Dane than the other. So I've got.
But that's a kitty cat.
Scooby, and no, this one is a kitty cat. Though,
yeah.
But awesome. She's the ghost that attacks.
Yeah.
My Scooby and what's the little one?
Scrappy.
Scrappy.
Yeah.
You're a ghost. Yes, you are. My puppies are off at the dog park.
Oh, dog park.
Getting their great runs out right now, so that they can rest up tonight, because my smallest one is gonna get spayed tomorrow. So we'll see how this goes, because she loves to fight a lot. Like, we're gonna have to drug her so much to be like, don't. Just lay around and do nothing like your sister.
But to address your issues with letting things go, I think that we're certainly in much better position, say, than wormholers, for example.
Well, yeah.
If you think about how long they've been focused on low sec, it's been a long time now. And this one again, when I heard the title, I thought for sure it was going to be a null sec centric thing, but it's not. And we've got 3 of these coming, so maybe I don't know if all 3 of them are going to be low sec centric, but not.
It seems very high sec centric at this point. This is an
interference
to like some low sec stuff where it like touches it, but it's much more about like altering high sec at this point and making it much more of a newbie friendly. Like one of the big things is like shortening the route between Amar and Jitta. And so there are a bunch of 0.5 systems there. Although, and a lot of people are like, well, that sounds really terrifying. And it was like, well, if there was only even one, and I think it would be worse, possibly. Like the argument that I heard and I thought was pretty convincing was, if it was just one, that's where everyone would be then. And it would just be like, it just turns into the choke point, where if you've got 5 or 10 of them or something, it was like an insane amount of like 0.5 jumps that you have to take. But it's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's still the weakest link is 0.5, and it sucks. You're going to be there for a little bit. But
yeah.
It's, even if it was just one, it would still just be, that would be the one system that you'd be like. Although that just means that it just, if you want to get your heart pumping, if anybody wants to like learn how to be a trucker that feels like he's being chased by Mad Max type like people, if you like want to like do the like Mad Max Thunderdome or Mad Max Fury Road, like you can do that in game. Just get into a hauler and haul around stuff worth a couple billion ISK, and then you will feel like everybody's trying to fucking kill you.
Because we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I wanted
to come in a low sec. I want to take your shit.
to get from you is what do you think is the big difference, or what is the lifestyle of a pirate in EVE Online? Like, if you could define, because I think a lot of people get confused as to what a pirate is in EVE Online today. Are you going around asking for ransom? Are you doing this for cargo? Like, what do you think is like the avatar of piracy in EVE Online?
Well, I think that it's kind of complicated, right? So I did a Pirate's Corner on this. What is a pirate in EVE Online, and what is the definition of it? And a lot of people, have different definitions, but mine is intention, and intention is a big part of it. So I have maintained a criminal status for over a decade, going on 15 years now. I've been -10. Or right around, -9.6. If I finish a room that I've killed some battleship in, my status might go up a little bit. But basically, I've been -10 for a very long time. Rixx cannot go into high sec really, and, except to fly through it really quickly in a smaller ship with inertial status or something. So that's part of it. I think that it's essentially PvPing exclusively. We log in, we fight. That's what we look for, good fights, so we're not really running missions, or, sometimes our alts might do things like that. I primarily make my income in-game from loot. Actually, the corporation runs on loot, so all of our players, so we're kind of communist in a way, because we share loot amongst each other, and we pay for fleet ships with loot that we've stolen from other players. So that's big part of our game. Ransoming used to be a thing, but it's really not anymore. I mean, it was really a thing that was because of the restrictions on cloning and the restrictions on training skills and losing skills and all that. You don't really have that now. It's so easy to have multiple clones and head candy and all that. So it's not really a viable option anymore. I did have it happens every once in a while. I'll point a pod and somebody will talk to me in local and say, look, how much would it cost me to let me go? Because my head's full of candy. And I'm like, so we'll come up with a price, but it's very rare now.
You're of the
I like that, by the way. I don't think I've heard head candy.
Head candy.
That's mine. I call it head
I like
candy
it.
because
I like it.
It is. That's exactly what it is. If only you could bust open the head candy to get to the candy. It just disintegrates when you smash it. But
the Easter
the kill
event
mail
once in a while.
is so juicy though.
Once in a while, you can drops.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, you could. That's right.
Easter eggs.
Yeah, I have guys in my corps who forbid it. They won't use implants.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't really. I have multiple clones with multiples in them, but they're basically for fleet ops and for like if I have to get into a command battleship or a command. Like if I need to fly on a Starte, I'm going to need some head candy. That kind of stuff. Yeah.
When you have to have it in. Yeah, and I've got a few pods like that later on, but I'm also the same way where I'm like, I just don't have time for head candy, and I just am like, please just blow me up so that I can get back to my station.
Well,
so
now we have bubbles and Losec too. It's really dangerous to do.
Yeah.
I have a couple of ships that are. If I don't put snakes in, I really can't fly them. So there's a couple of moments like that. I can't remember specifically which ones, but I don't have enough cap, to run it the way I like, so I put a snake in. But I mean, even when I'm doing that, I'm only running afterburners on those, so it's not really that big of a deal. But it makes it viable, to have that 200 more ms a second or whatever. We can get into the nuts and bolts of how all that works, but for the most part, I'm running around without them. Although it always seems like when I get potted, I happen to be in the implants, and I don't know how that works out.
I recently got I was running around in a pod. I was like, okay, so this is my the CA2 or whatever one and stuff like that. So I had a full thing of that, and it's my fuck around pod that
right.
I know it's going to get lost soon because anytime that I take it out, I forget I have it in, and I'm like so used to just being like, oh yeah, just pod me, that it's like, no.
Oops. No, don't, please don't.
I'm like, wait a minute, I've been watching this fight for the last 3 minutes and nobody's pod me. I have implants in. I should go. I should stop watching this fight.
Oh my God, I do that all the time, especially if I have to put them in, for some special thing, right? And then I come back and then I log off. But if it's during a session, I'll remember. Like if I have to get another ship, I'm like, oh, I got to change pod. Mm-hmm. But if I do it at the end of a session, and I'm going to log off afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Bad things happen the next day because I completely forget that I have them in my head. And then I'm just going out in a Tristan or something. I get killed or blown up, and it's like, holy shit! I had a whole head of mid-tier stakes in my head or something. It doesn't matter.
So you brought up Pirates Corner. So Pirates Corner is your YouTube channel, and you do a lot of. There's kind of commentary. You I don't know. You'd refer to it as the talking head kind of cast, where you just are really just kind of talking from the heart of like, hey, this is something I'm coming across in game, or something that I think players would kind of know or should know about. I've
had my YouTube channel for 20 years. It just passed its 20th anniversary. I started it like a week after YouTube started. And back in the day, it was a place for me to put television commercials that my agency, I owned an agency from 2001 to 2012. Yeah, and I would just put commercials up, for clients to share and things like that. And then moving into gaming, I've changed it into, but it was just a hobby, and then the whole board game happened, and I thought I might just try to do this full time, more aggressively. So I started, really focusing on making content and videos, and because I really, really enjoyed doing them. And then my wife is like, people don't know who you are. You appear on podcasts and streams every once in a while, but unless people meet you in FanFest, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I should start talking to I feel so uncomfortable even doing it, like I told you earlier, watching myself on camera is horrible, but I've just never been comfortable in front of a camera. I'm not a performer. I'm not, a streamer or anything. And I've always been a director or, behind the camera telling other people what to do. But it's getting easier to do it. And I see Pirates Corner as I was doing them every week, which was way too often. I'm doing them
a lot.
I do a podcast one week and then the Pirates Corner the next week, which is a much better rhythm. And I see it as an opportunity to talk about things that you really can't make into a video. I can't make a video about this, so I'm going to talk about it, and then also, invite people into my home. This is just my work studio. This is where I do the work. This is where I sit to play the game. This is my house, and then just talk to the camera and talk to them like I was meeting them at FanFest. That's how I always think of it. Is like, I'm having a conversation with people as if I was meeting you at FanFest or sitting at the table at the laundromat and we were having a debate about something, or you asked me a question and I'm trying to explain how things work. Tomorrow, I'm doing a weird one tomorrow. There's a group called Just. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a content creation platform that pays content creators. So they have like a reward system that goes on every month, and they come up with ideas. And then there's a reward that they'll pay you for if they judge your entry to be the best. And it's a nice little bit of change every month. And they had an idea for something called Evolution, show the visual history of Eve. And so I thought that would be an interesting topic. And how am I going to do that? So I opened up my archives, and I've got 20 years of screenshots, so I thought I'm just going to do it from my perspective. I'll just pick 2008 when I started till 2011 when Citadel came out, and that Citadel's kind of the demarcation point of modern Eve. Everything that happened before Citadel is kind of old Eve. It was a different engine, different graphic system, different skyboxes changed, ships changed, textures, all that. And so I just do a little walkthrough of like a whole bunch of screenshots that I found, and talk about Eve history and what I was doing and why this is personal to me, but also look at these graphics and how goofy they look. It's awesome how different Eve was back then, with just really funny looking. But 23 years ago, so yeah, so that's what Pirates Corner is. It's just kind of a, I don't know, get to know me kind of a thing, I guess. I can't meet everybody, but I can put myself out there a little bit more and start sharing, with some of the work. Last week I came out with this video called about the pirate frigates. I don't know if you've seen it, and it got really a lot of views. And so I'm doing part 2 this week. And while I was working on part 2, I had just logged out of Eve, so the camera was still recording. So I ended up recording like almost an hour of me working on this video. So it's got like a lot of, me
behind
working
the scenes.
about me working in Photoshop and building all the graphics and everything. So I'm going to release that too this week. So I'm going to try to do more of that, let people in and see, some of the things that I do. So yeah, I don't know if somebody finds that interesting or not. I don't know, but I'm going to keep doing it.
I think so. I think people find that interesting because I've done. I remember doing stuff like that, streaming, working on video. I was streaming Eve, and my buddy was working on a YouTube video for Dark Souls, and I was like, he streamed it for me because he was showing me what he was doing, and I was like, do you mind if I just put this on my stream? I think people might be interested in seeing
that's pretty
this.
cool.
Like, sure. So yeah, I mean, behind the scenes stuff is always interesting, especially when you get more, when you have more of a following. I think it'll definitely have more interest. I mean,
Thanks.
meaning you have a following. You already have a large following, so that, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, trying to grow the channel and maybe turning it into a thing. It doesn't have to. I don't have to make a living at it. I just, if it was something I'm interested in it and I enjoy doing it, and I'm just on this new thing now. I had a job, and the experience was way too much stress for me, and it was horrible. And immediately after I left that job, I got the board game. It was almost like a Providence calling, right? And the board game happened, and I got involved in that. And then, after I've been working on that and getting more into things, I was like, maybe this is just the way I should just try to pursue this instead.
Mm-hmm. I was like, Kismet, I think is the word.
That is one of the things that you've been working on. Its Kickstarter is over. Is there more story that's going to be told for this? And what is the board game that you designed?
Yeah, so the board game for me finished, gosh, almost, I mean, not last year, but the year before, I finished up work on the board game towards the end of, so what would that have been, 2004. And a couple of things came up right at the end of production. It was like, oops, we forgot this, or that didn't work the way we thought, so can you fix this? And then at FanFest last year, we had a prototype for what was called at the time Eve dice game, because it was easy for everybody to know what it was. It's a dice game version of Eve. It has nothing to do with the board game either. It's a completely different thing. And I knew the name of it really is Eve. It's called Eve Squadrons, and it's a sort of a pared down card dice game based on Eve Online. So that is going to be, well, the plan is the Kickstarter for that will launch in the first quarter of next year. So I am actually probably tomorrow I will be getting started on artwork for it. It's all been approved and everything's ready to go, and I'm just waiting on hey, here's what we need from you. So there'll be a list of stuff that I have to do, and then so my work on it, I think, is going to probably start tomorrow.
Oh, awesome. So
nice.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about it. It's not going to be anything nearly as big or complicated as the as the board game turned out to be, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about that too.
Yeah, the work that you looked like what you put into the board game. So did you like what kind of the stuff? So it's Empire
War for New Eden.
War for New Eden. So War for New Eden is the board game that you created. What is the different stuff that you worked on for the board game?
I worked on everything. So I did. So I did icons. I did all the illustrations in the board game. I did, except for a few that involve. You'll notice them when you play. If you pull out a game, and there's like this downward view of some crates on a catwalk, and they change. There's like different ones for different cards. I did not do those. There's an illustration of me in the game, which I thought would be. I thought it would be a nice little Easter egg to put myself in the game, and I couldn't bring myself to draw myself. So one of their artists did it because that just seemed way too egotistical to draw myself. It was bad enough I was putting myself in the game, and then the boxes, the packaging design, the illustrations on the boxes, all of the boxes and the packaging and everything. I did the work, I design work and the illustrations for almost all the cards, backs, the minerals, all the stuff, the board, the Titan art, all the graphics that are used on it. I worked with a young production designer over in Poland. I call him Jed. It's a Polish name, but it's Jed to me. And he did a lot of that. Like I would do the designs or whatever, and then I'd send it to him, and he would do the production and put the actual things together because they're there on site. So yeah, I mean that was over 2 years of my life spent working on that darn thing.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of work.
The art is really awesome, and I've got some of all the 200% ships. I have the entire game, all the expansions, except for awesome. Like maybe one or there's like some. I got like the third tier worth.
Right. Did you get the pirate expansion?
I got the pirate expansion.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was something that happened right in the middle of development when Eve. When I started working on it, there was no Mekibal and all that, and Zarzak and all that came out, and we were like, well, we should probably do an expansion about that. So it hadn't even really entered the game yet when we started working on it. So I had to really scramble. I spent a lot of time in Zarzak.
That's awesome.
Excuse me.
So
So
any
the
other?
other-
Go ahead.
I was just gonna. So you have the YouTube channel. The other thing you brought up that you're doing weekly is the Safe Spot, which is the podcast you do with Crazy Canucks, who is a returning player, and you guys
Right.
kind of
Yep.
do a lot of personal introspection
Introspection
of your gameplay. Yeah. So where did the idea of this the podcast come from?
Well, Crazy and Canucks had a blog. I think he started in 2003, right around the time he started Eve. And back in those days, when hundreds of people were writing blogs, he was kind of known as the blog father. He put the whole blog community together, and had but recommended everybody had blog lists on their blogs, and have the community there. And then every month they would come out with a subject, and everybody would write a blog post about it. So it would kind of like go around the community. And him and Rockweiler were, even before I started playing Eve, I was reading their blogs. And so I've known Crazy for a long time, and he left the game, and he just recently, like within the last 6 months or so, came back after 15 years away. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, this game has changed so much," And he was talking to me, and I'm like, "You know about Discord, he's like, "Where's everybody at?" I'm like, "Well, they're on Discord channels now." So we started talking, and it was just a natural thing. It was like, well, this is pretty interesting. We've known each other for 20 years, but you're just back. Like I never left. We were interviewing Oz last week, and he's like, well, I started this and I left for 5 years, like everybody does, and like, I'm like, no, not everybody, but yeah, he was gone for 15 years. He came back, and it's kind of a neat, I think, neat perspective. I'd never left, and he's just coming back, so he's kind of like a newbie. And so we have an interesting dynamic. I hope so. Anyway, we're just kind of finding our way through it. So we'll see. But I enjoyed.
Is there any topics that have generated a stronger response from the viewers? Anything that kind of surprised you, maybe?
Yeah, I think people like to hear about your personal reasons for doing things, right? They really like to get into the weeds a little bit about why you choose, like why do you choose to do the things you do, but also what motivates you. And we don't have really an opportunity very often to get into all of that, right? So we're talking about the game a lot. It's just I know you guys have, if you've been to player meets, and I know I think all of you have actually. I think but it's funny how little Eve we talk about when we're together in person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we talk about it all the time, and then when we get together, it's like, well, how are your kids, or how did so and so do at school, or what.
I'm usually asking about how the universe is doing, and how do you perceive the universe, and that's usually me at a Eve meetup.
Yeah, deep philosophical questions,
deep
right?
philosophical concepts.
You're bringing. I got a little PTSD from that, Frozen. I think you got me in a corner once in a bar.
You did it to me at 2 a.m. at the Airbnb. Fuck.
Right. I may be having flashbacks, but that does happen a lot, right? And but I think so. It's a banter. I think that whenever we cross a subject that kind of resonates with certain people, or not everything's going to be. Well, we're not trying for it. We're not like some people who are chasing popularity. I don't chase popularity. I just do what I like and hope that it's popular. I started doing Eve art because I was trying to learn new things. I was the art that I did back in 2014 that got CCP's attention. I essentially was doing that because I had a project that I didn't know how to do, and I didn't feel like spending a lot of time drawing wooden. It was a wooden. It doesn't even matter. It never even happened. It was a wooden sailing ship thing, and I don't have any interest. So I didn't want to practice on wooden sailing ships. So I decided, well, what do I like? And I'm like, Eve spaceships. So I'll just start drawing Eve spaceships and learn how to do it through that.
The technique overall.
Yeah, the technique, right? The technique. It's a new technique for me, and that sort of became a thing. And then everybody fell in love with them, and CCP started selling them, and that was awesome. But yeah, so I mean, I think that's really, I've been a creative my entire life. I've made a career out of it, and I've always learned, don't try to do the popular thing. Don't chase the tail of a monster you'll never catch. Do what you do what you love, and those things the doors will open for you. Do what you love and do it well, and be passionate about it, and good fortune will find you.
It's good
And
advice.
I think if you talk to any great creative or a popular person, they'll tell you the same thing. It's not, if you try to do what's popular, you'll get bored of it, and it'll burn you out.
And you won't get anywhere because everybody else is doing it.
Everybody else is chasing that same dragon, right?
Orion, thank you for the raid. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. So Orion, who wants to do the sermon that we were just given from the almighty rat?
Oh, maybe Rixx wants to do the honors.
Oh, I'm not on Twitch. I'm actually on Discord. I should probably.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm not even watching chat. People can be saying horrible things about me, and I wouldn't even know.
There's so you've been talked about a whole bunch. You've missed so many things.
I have.
How about you, Samson? You've got the
okay.
the great priest voice.
I don't know if you're familiar with this, Rixx, but there's the rat Messiah, or the rat Jesus. He's apparently, or they are apparently the Eve Messiah or whatever. So this comes from Rat Isaiah 54:17. No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the nibble of the rat, and this is their vindication from me, declares the mighty rat. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen. Yeah, I don't know. We worship Bob and Stay Frosty.
Bob,
so
yeah.
You don't believe in Jesus?
You don't believe in Jesus?
No, Jesus is a Bob prophet. So
Jesus is a Bob prophet. Okay, Jesus is
the
a Bob
prophet. The last prophet of Bob.
I have to admit, I'm intrigued by the rat god, and I would like to hear more about.
We've had it a couple of times.
It's a whole thing. So,
yeah, I bet. That's awesome.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah,
the only real god is the blood god. But that's okay.
The blood god, yeah, blood for the blood god, blood for the blood god.
That's awesome.
All right, so you got the YouTube channel, you got the podcast, you got the dice game, you've got upcoming stuff with the board game. You have your regular art stuff and everything else on Evaganda. Speaking of Evaganda, you have your timeline on there, the digital timeline with the things. Yep. I thought that was really cool, and kind of inspiring me to try to think of doing something like that for myself. Although I think mine's going to be a little more boring than yours. Yours has kind of got a lot of.
Well, it's a really selfish reason I did it. Thank God I have Evaganda, or thank Bob, I guess, or thank the rat god for inspiring me to. Because if I forget something, when you play a game for almost 20 years, you forget things. I can just Google it on Evaganda, and I probably wrote a blog post about it so that I could read the blog post and go, oh, it was that guy, And then that's where the timeline came from. Was I needed something I could put on my desktop that I could just hit the space bar and it would show up on my screen, and I could like a quick reference guide to my career in Eve. That's how that started, and so it's kind of a cheat sheet for myself, really.
Yeah, it's really cool because you got the year by year breakdown with the Eve year, and all that. So it's just kind of neat.
Yeah. Crazy.
You haven't done the Steel City, the Pennsylvania.
Steel City E. Yeah, we started that. We did that for I think 5 years, maybe 6. I don't know. I have to look at my quick reference guide, but you probably have it in front of you. We opened up our house and had Eve nerds come, for a whole day, hang out show up in the morning and hang out all day. some people would come and go. We had Eve players from Germany come. We had Eve players from all over the place. One guy motorcycled all the way across America to show up. It was pretty amazing, and it was awesome. And with travel, with working from home, we renovated our home, so we kind of got. And then COVID, that's what really did it. COVID happened, and FanFest got canceled that year. Everything got canceled. We had gone on a Eve cruise to Alaska with a bunch of Eve players. About 25 or 30 of us got together and planned a cruise, and we actually did it. It was pretty awesome. Gray Gal organized that, and she's the one that gives out the lanyards that I designed. She prints those and gives them out for charity. And so we went on that, and we were going to do another Eve cruise to the Baltic Sea, and we were going to do all the Norway and all that, and then go to St. Petersburg in Russia, which was pretty cool. And then that is when COVID struck. So that trip got canceled, FanFest got canceled, and Steel City Eve got canceled, and that went on for 2 years or so. And then we haven't gotten back around to maybe we should have Eve nerds at our house again. I don't know. I think we're going to do it again, but real life. It's real life. It gets complicated, and summers are tough. I've got 4 boys, and 2 are still in school. One's in his last year of college, and one's starting his mid-year in college. So soon they will be out of the house, and that will be great. We'll have more time, but that's been eating up a lot of the summers too.
Yeah, we do the Madison Eve meetup every year. We've
Medicine.
I
like that.
Medicine.
Right.
Medicine. Well, of course, the medicine, my friend. But yeah, no. So here in Madison, and so this is our 4th year now.
Nice. That's awesome.
that we're doing this, and so
It was pretty big last time. We had a lot of people.
Yeah. 3rd time was the charm, and so we've set kind of things up. This time we're doing it in September instead of May because of being so close to the FanFest was a little bit like we did it last time. We were like, well, if you couldn't make it to FanFest, come here. But then this time we were like, well, I need to get set up for FanFest. I remember that being a little bit chaotic. Well, the one thing that was really nice is that we got to fly Samson back straight to Madison.
Oh, nice.
Of having to.
Oh yeah, I flew with you from FanFest back to Madison. So I was gone. I was out away from home for 2 weeks. 1 week in Iceland and 1 week in Madison.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you can go to FanFest for 10 years in a row and then miss one, and they'll give you an award.
Apparently. They're like, come back, we love you.
See, Frozen, we would have won Podcast of the Year if you didn't go.
If you didn't show.
Yeah,
See, because we were nominated because most of us didn't go, and then you went. So, we didn't
so maybe I'm not going to go next year to see what they do.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get a statue in the game.
There you go.
Well, that would be cool. The Polaris Sword, maybe that's what they should do with that.
Yeah, maybe if we have a creator's ring, kind of like the Alliance Tournament champions, right?
Orion is upset that that it's the year that he went that you didn't go.
I know. I'm so sorry.
He also wanted to let you know that you're the inspiration for him to do like the Brawl for CSM and all the different kind of industry events and stuff like that for the Frigate Free for All that you've inspired him.
Oh, I love seeing that. There's a lot of those kinds of things going on, events and everything. And I was telling you earlier about tomorrow's Pirates Corner, where old screenshots, and one of the ones I found was the very first event I did in Eve it was called Death Race, and we had 500 people show up for, and we did a death race through Providence, from Amar Losec all the way through Providence out into Amar Losec. And I have a screenshot of it because at the time, I would take a screenshot so I could see everybody in local, and so that I would know who was participating. And it's funny how you read the names, and this is, this was, when was this? 2010. So that's that's over 16 years ago. And I'm reading the names on the screenshot that were in local, and I know all of those people, like the names of the characters, right? And it's like, wow. And how many of these people still play Eve? But it's Eve is just such a weird game. Like I don't know that if you took a screenshot of any other game 16 years ago, if you would remember the names of the people on that screenshot. It blows my mind how personal this game is and how weird
Eve
it can be.
Is one of the most social, like, I think one of the big things about it is that it's one universe, and that everything that you do really interacts with each other, type kind of thing. So there's this bigger overall story that you can get latched onto of, like, I know that I was like huge into reading any news that came out of Eve News 24 or Imperium or Matani.com or any of that stuff that was going on. There was a lot of really good news websites out there, and just kind of just feeding off of like all the crazy history that there is, that's all shared with Eve, and just in general of the, like, when you're hanging out with somebody in Eve, it's very different than hanging out with people in other video games. Because I feel like in other video games, it's all about, like, okay, did you bring the right, gear, and are you the right level to, like, hang out with me? And are you prepared to do the content that I'm about to do?
I didn't really think about it that way.
There is a level of that in Eve for sure, where there is some content that is definitely barred from, like, a brand new player to a certain degree. But a lot of the activities in Eve are very welcoming to being like, oh, you're a day old, I got a job for you, my friend. Like,
right.
and we might call you the hero of the fleet by the end, where if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have held down that Dominix that was just about to get away.
Yeah, that's what we tell do Stay Frosty people. It's like, there's a procure with your name written on it.
Yeah. And it's a much more welcoming environment of, like, we can find things for you to do while you're learning how to do some of the stuff that we're doing, and then there's really advanced jobs that you can do. Like, there's, the basic F1 monkey, but then there's, going and hunting, and there's being a Logi, there's being, all these different roles that you can kind of fill out in Eve, that are possible, but also not required to be in the fleet, which is one of the big, things, where if you're in World of Warcraft and somebody comes with level 20 and you're all level 60, it's like, well, we're either going to go and do all the lower level content, we're just going to kill everything that we look at, and just push this guy through all of his content, but you can't hang out and do what we do. But in Eve, you pretty much can. Like, there's, especially with, like, the Praxis and stuff that has come out, you can do level 4 missions with somebody. You might not be super effective, throwing light guns and just killing all of the little frigates that you can find that are in a level 4 mission, but you can definitely jump, like, day one and do a level 4 mission with somebody.
It's pretty cool. There's so many things unique about Eve, and one of the things that fascinates me too that's unique about it, I think, is that you can be a fan of content that you have no connection to. Like, I can follow the news of nullsec and the wars and watch those great Warlock industry videos, and they have no meaning to me. They don't really intersect my play style at all, but I can still be a fan of all of that, like the intrigue of what's going on and the territories moving and the big fleet fights and everything. But I don't know that there's a lot of games that can be segmented out like that. It's like,
no, I mean, because it's so player-run history. Like, you have, like, World of Warcraft is, like, the next expansion, and here's, like, the story of, like, things, and people talk about that story, maybe.
But it's not player-driven.
Like, you don't have this shared experience of, like, doing and building and destroying stuff. Like, and it's one, if you go to any other thing, it's, like, 50, different servers that you can join or whatever. There's 50 different stories that are going on then. and that are very separated from each other. The way the revolutionary thing about Eve is that they were like, no, we all want all of you to interact with each other on one server, and like the economy depends on that concept that there is in one server 30,000 people, give or take, that are like doing stuff and, you know, adding to the economy,
and it's running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know, while we're talking right now, Eve is going. There's stuff happening in the game right now.
Right. There's fights, deaths, plans, meetings that are being held, like out of game events, in game events. Like it's
for all I know, there's somebody plotting my demise right now. You know,
that is I'm very, very, very
could
possible.
be.
One of the things that I have pushed for, and I will always push for, is I think that Eve does need a better event, like, thing. Where, like, in-game panel of it is similar to, like, the agencies and stuff like that, where it's, like, out-of-game events and in-game events of player events that are going on, that everybody would be, like, a public board that people could, like, post to.
Oh, sure. Like
I'm doing
almost
this.
like a community center or something.
Right, and then it would be, you could put it on your calendar. It could be a reminder that'll pop up. Hey, in 1 hour, you know, there's this crazy event that's going on in the system that was public.
It's almost like those cork boards when you walk into a grocery store. You know, they have everybody's flyers on them.
Yeah, just like when you play Dungeons and Dragons and you go to the job board and you're like, hey, what's going on today? What goblins do I have to go bash in and get the crop back for Joe, you know, Schmo over here?
It does bring up a good point, though. You know, the game is 23 years old, and there are parts of it that have been developed and then forgotten, like Flyer said, and have never been. You know, how many maps do we need, and how many different resources do we need, and how many? You know, they're talking about achievements, and I'm like, well, didn't we just do that whole air thing with the ship tree and and then it keeps track? There's like that big circle that keeps track of everything that you do, and isn't that kind of what we're talking about?
I thought those were achievements. I'm also wondering, am I going to get all of my achievements, or am I going to start like with every noob and you know,
it's all starting all over again.
All starting all over. Active kills.
So everything I did doesn't matter until today, I guess. That's
it's like kills that you may have gotten before 2008 may or may not actually have happened.
There's questions, you know, like if we look at some data sets, it says that you never killed anybody before 2000 according to your achievements that are public record. You, sir, have only killed 100 solo kills.
On Tuesday I'll have 0 on that. It's like no solo kills.
No solo kills.
I mean, could you imagine if they reset?
I can catch up to Samson now.
If they reset
complete reset of
there would be so many people leaving.
Riots in Jeddah. Endo Dixon.
I would incite riots personally. That would drive me nuts. Although I've just gotten to the point where I don't care about it as much. After chasing the dragon on the kill board for like 3 straight years, as Frozen knows. Yeah,
it's not. It's a great thing. People don't like it. You know, people say, "Why do you care?" and we shouldn't have it. And it's an intel tool and all that. Of course it is. And you know, when you play for a while, you realize it's really more of a journal. You know, it's more of a memory machine than anything. And it's like
memory machine. Yeah,
it's a huge memory machine. I still, you know, I can go. When somebody asks me, like, what's one of your favorite solo kills, I immediately go to, there's a, like, you know, the biggest kills you've had, like, there's top 5 things at the top of your screen. And there's one of those I can click on and give the link to. And it's just a thing that happened, like, gosh, 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. I would totally have forgotten about it if it wasn't for that. It's like an easy thing to, you know, so it does serve a purpose. It's kind of a neat way to keep track of things, I guess. But there's people who take it too seriously, and that's not, you know, it's not neither here nor there, really. I mean, what does it matter? But
I will forever treasure my orca solo kill in a hurricane.
See, there you go.
I caught a whale out in the world, and I killed it. I also the story behind it is that just before it died, it had given me 200 million ISK to not let it kill him, but it was like I was starting to get into structure on my armor tanked Hurricane.
Nice.
So I was like, okay, so you like I'm not going to stop shooting till I receive the money, and I received the money as he blew up.
He's too slow.
And unfortunately, I have some sense of honor and morality because I was like, I just gave the money back to him. He was very upset. I was like, no, here's the money back. Like, well, them the breaks. And I'm really happy that I got the kill mail actually over the 200 million ISK. I was actually kind of happier in the end that it went down that way. But in true Eve fashion, I should have just taken the 200 million ISK and just been like, you know what, them's the breaks. Like that's welcome to Eve. That's just how things go.
I've never been able to cross that line to be a thief or to do something too nefarious. I mean, I will set people up with bait. I'll trick them into fighting me. I'll drop black ops on them sometimes or whatever. But I've never been able to justify the cheating part, or the
doing like saying 1v1, but then doing something
right. 3 guys show up, right? Yeah. I can't do that. So I don't know. It's just a line that exists, and I can't do it. I'll give you a great example, and I think I did a Pirates Quarter on this too. Is that when I do the FFAs, a lot of the ships or prizes or things come from donations, right? People just give you stuff, and a couple of years ago, someone in Nullsec gave me an officer-fitted Hell supercarrier, and that darn thing is what I can't remember what I remember it being like 400 and some billion ISK or something. I don't know. It was super expensive, and it had officer mods all over it. It was really, but it was located in Nullsec, and at the time I don't have super skills. I don't need them. I've never trained, so I couldn't fly it. And so we were debating and say, Frosty, like, so how do we get a Hell supercarrier that's worth, maybe 1 trillion ISK out of Nullsec into Valletta? And then I started thinking, well, this thing's worth more than I've ever lost in. Like you talk about Zika, you go to Zika, you see your total losses for 17 years or 18 years of playing, and it's like I think I've lost like 338 billion ISK. So the ship's worth more than I've lost in my whole career. So
yeah,
do I really want to do that and double that? That's a loss that's hard to absorb for a free event. And so I just gave it back. I just said, I wrote this player and I said, thank you for the donation, but I'm contracting it back to you. And they were like, holy shit, I can't believe you did that. You could have just broken down the pieces and sold them on the market. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I could have. Or I could have kept the officer mods for the Alliance tournament if I was ever going to do that again. And they sent me some ISK anyway as a donation. But I got a lot of people upset about that because they were really looking forward to blowing me up in that thing. And
yeah,
it's a hard blow to hit, like it's like, well,
I got a lot of accusations of stealing and stealing people's donations and things, but that's not true. So, but yeah, that's how Eve works too. It's the other side of the game is that there's a side where whatever you do, whatever choices that you make, the bigger they are, the more consequences come along with them. So you have to be prepared to take those on the chin as well. But it's all part of the game, right?
Yeah, there's once you become part of the public eye, then you're going to get somebody doesn't like you. There's not not a person on Earth that doesn't exist.
Or they do. I mean, I like a lot of the people that I blow up. It's not it's not
absolutely, yeah. I blow up a lot of friends.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right, I don't need to hate you to point out.
But no, yes, not everybody likes you, even though maybe the majority does. That's just a fact. But like, who cares? Haters gonna hate.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it turns into stalking. I've had a couple of those.
Yeah, but that's not fun. But
no, for the most part, though, I think even the people who are like ranting about you on Discord and Reddit. Well, so here's a great example. I had 15,000 shuttles dumped on me, right? I find that to be kind of a I'm kind of honored by that. Somebody hated me so much they spent 3 days buying all the shuttles in Jeddah, moving them into a wormhole, putting them in a structure. They spent an entire day. It took nearly 24 hours to shoot those. Well, they had to blow up the structure. They had to pop out. So I can imagine 15,000 shuttles in space. And they and their friends had to sit there for almost a whole day, like over 12 hours, shooting shuttles one at a time. Yeah, so that's some dedication, man.
That padded. Was that your station then? Did that pad your kill board with?
No, I had nothing to do with any of that. Didn't know what was going on, and I just started seeing the notifications.
You did get your kill board just got filled with you died a whole bunch of times.
So luckily Ezekiel.
I've never been there.
Yeah, if Ezekiel considers them padding, so they don't count. Yeah, but they're still there.
Padding, yeah.
But if you go to Eve kill, you'll see I have the most losses in all of Eve.
Because of 15,000 shuttles.
Yeah. So it's like 18,000, almost 20,000 losses.
That's kind of a badge of
honor. No, but see, that's
man.
Cool though. That's like you said. You said you feel honored.
It's kind of a badge of honor, isn't it?
I would be like,
how much somebody didn't like
what?
Me, all that trouble. And it doesn't have any meaning at all, really. But God, Bob blessed them.
Bob bless.
That's a lot of effort.
That is a lot of effort.
Yeah, so pretty funny. But I hate to bring this to a close, but I do have to get going.
I was gonna say we are a little bit above time here, so.
But let's not be strangers. Feel free to invite me anytime. I don't mind doing this, and it's a lot of fun talking to you guys. And it doesn't have to be 2 years, and we don't have to spend all the time talking about me. We could talk about other stuff too. But I appreciate the opportunity always.
You got 60 seconds for some rapid fire questions. 6 questions, 60 seconds.
Oh.
You down for that, or you gotta go?
Sure. No, yeah, that'd be great. That's great. Rapid fire.
Right. 6 seconds
on
the clock.
All right. Favorite ship of all time?
Daredevil.
Most underrated ship?
The Visual Fleet issue. For me, PvP.
Yeah. Sure.
So in Eve, I would have to say something, but yeah. The Metamorphosis.
Favorite region in New Eden?
Black Rise.
There you go. Best pirate movie?
Boy, that's best pirate movie, like old school pirate movie.
Could be old, could be new. Kind of generic.
Let's go Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, there you go. Most expensive mistake you ever made? Let's keep it Eve related.
In game. He's like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Real life, marrying my first wife, I lost $250 million. But yeah.
Whoa.
In Eve, that's a very long story. Which I will be covering in my YouTube channel eventually someday. But
we're gonna get you back on here. We're gonna
foreshadowing.
Yeah, we're gonna hear that one. Yeah. Most expensive mistake. Gosh, I have to think about that one. It's not top of mind. Oh, well, I mean, in the frigate free for all, I did derp a Marshall. That's probably the largest loss I've ever had. Well, maybe not I did derp a Naglfar one year too, but that was those count because they were donated. They weren't.
And it's not really a mistake, right? Like
it's something I did it on purpose.
If you wanted them to get blown up, then that's not really a mistake.
I don't know. It's a hard one.
Yeah, well, expense can be subjective.
Subjective
too. It could be an emotional expense. So.
Emotional.
I'll have to clarify something.
What hurt my feelings?
Kind of a new.
Yeah, when did you go? That was my ship, and I wanted that ship.
What hurt the dark black heart of the pirate lord of Losec? What really touched him in the feelies? Nothing. I don't have it.
Nothing.
I don't have
He's
feelings.
done nothing wrong ever.
No, of course not.
All right, last question. Is there one player you wish you could fly with again?
Yeah, my good friend Jaffe, who was in Stay Frosty recently. He was gone for a very long time. He just recently left, but he has muscular dystrophy and he has a very difficult time. He plays Eve, believe it or not, he plays Eve laying on his back in bed, he only has the use of one hand, and most of the mouse movements he does with his eyes. And this is how this man, for a moment in time, he was probably the best Tristan pilot in Losec. He probably led the leaderboards in Tristan kills and things. He was really good, and he's an inspiration to me, and I love him. But yeah, he has a hard time, and he doesn't get to play much. But yeah, it's awesome. That's a good answer, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's a great answer. That's great.
Absolutely.
So that might have been the answer to the other one too. So maybe I don't. My heart is as dark and black and cinderish as I thought.
We chipped away. We chipped away at the.
Well, that's it. That's your 6th question.
The obsidian.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. That was fun.
Yeah,
really
thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for
coming.
watching.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good to see you all again, and good luck on the whatever it is, and on Tuesday. I mean, for the Cradle of War.
Yes, we will see the Cradle of War this Tuesday.
Cradle. It's such a odd word choice, don't you think? Cradle
we're
of War.
Gonna put the baby in the cradle of war.
Yes.
I guess if the cradle rocks, we're gonna fall out of a tree or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's kind of a weird word choice. I don't know.
Probably
the Forge of War or something.
Icelandic translation or something.
Maybe Icelandic.
An Icelandic.
Yeah.
Icelandic translation.
The Hunkerker of. It didn't have the same ring to it.
Awesome. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Good night, everybody.